Today we are going to be talking about amazing feats of engineering that will shape our future. So here are some examples of nice architecture around the world that I've found that I hope you enjoy. Today we are going to be talking about some of the new and up-and-coming buildings that are going to be built around the world. I really hope you enjoy this video. There'll be background footage of a video game called Polymatter that I really enjoy. I hope you enjoy. So first we're going to be talking about the W350 wooden skyscraper. This is located in Tokyo, Japan, and the progress is in the planning stages. The completion target is 2041, which is a long time off. The timber frame tower design is designed to change cities into forests. All wooden buildings are growing both in popularity and in scale. At 53 metres in height, a student residence in Vancouver currently holds the title of the world's highest timber frame building, but Tokyo may soon boast one nearly 7 times taller. Japanese company Sumitomo Forestry Co. have proposed a 350-metre tall wooden skyscraper to celebrate their 350th anniversary, which, if commissioned, will become Japan's tallest building, with a predicted cost of just over £4 billion, or £4 billion that is, or $5.3 billion, approximately double that of a traditional complete skyscraper. The W350 would represent a big step forwards, and Tokyo would become a more environmentally friendly city. The organic aesthetic of the wooden structure will be bolstered by balconies on all 4 sides of the buildings, which will house an array of plant life. To ensure the building remains stable, even in Tokyo, where seismic activity is common, it will be constructed using a brace tube structure. This will involve a mixture of steel and wooden supports, with wood forming 90% of the building's material. The W350 will house shops, offices, residential units, and a hotel. The W350 will promote urban biodiversity by embedding flora on all of its many balconies. Did you know timber formed frame buildings use fire retardant materials that disrupt the combustion process, and this is how it's going to, not set on fire. And so one of the biggest challenges of building the W350 wooden skyscraper is making it fire retardant, as it's a wooden building covered in plant life. So that is going to take a lot of development and research. Hopefully it'll be worth it for a beautiful new building in the skyline of Tokyo.
By 2050, the world's population is expected to soar to almost 10 billion people, and 2/3 of us will live in cities. Space will be at a premium. High-rise offers a solution, but concrete and steel, the materials we currently use to build high, have a large carbon footprint. An answer might lie in a natural material we've used for millennia.
Our view is that all buildings should be made of timber. We think that we should be looking at concrete and steel like we look at petrol and diesel.
I think it's very realistic to think that someone will build a wooden skyscraper in the coming years. There's a lot of potential that's unrealized for using timber at a very large scale.
Throughout history, buildings have been made of wood, but it has one major drawback. It acts as kindling. Fire has destroyed large swathes of some of the world's great cities. But by the early 20th century, the era of modern steelmaking had arrived. Steel was strong, could be molded into any shape, and used to reinforce concrete. It allowed architects to build higher than ever before. So why, after more than a century of concrete and steel, are some architects proposing a return to wood?
If concrete were to arrive as a new material on Dragon's Den, if you were to pitch it and say, I've got this brand new material, it's liquid, and you can pour it into any shape and it'll solidify, that sounds great. But then when you say, but we need a whole new fleet of trucks to move it around, and actually when it solidifies it's not strong enough, we have to stick this other stuff in it called steel. I don't think it would be a compelling case.
Concrete and steel are costly to produce and heavy to transport. Wood, however, can be grown sustainably, and it's lighter than concrete. And crucially, as trees grow, they absorb carbon dioxide from the air, locking it into the timber. One study showed that using wood to construct a 125-metre skyscraper could reduce the building's carbon footprint by up to 75%.
Next, we are going to be talking about the Beijing Daxing International Airport. You may have heard of that if you are an architecture or engineering fan, and it's an enormous building that is planned to be built by 2025. Absolutely enormous. It will be the world's largest international airport when it is opened in late 2019. The location is Beijing, China, and the progress is under construction. Completion target 2019. China's latest infrastructure project will cater for 100 million passengers every year. Despite its size, the People's Republic of China has a relatively low aviation capacity. The Beijing Daxing International Airport was proposed to improve this, and it's set to do so in a big way. This gargantuan airport, designed in collaboration with Zaha Hadid Architects, will feature 4 runways at the time of its opening and an intricate flower-inspired terminal space built using 1.6 million cubic metres of concrete and 52,000 tonnes of steel. In total, the new airport will encompass an area of 47 square kilometres, and it has rightly been described as a testament to China's world-leading production capabilities. Initially, Beijing's new airport is predicted to transport 45 million passengers per year, but this figure is expected to grow to a whopping 100 million passengers, making it one of the busiest airports in the world. Of course, it won't just be for international or tourist flights, because there is a big demand in China, especially as there's a growing middle or upper middle class, for flight around the country from city to city, much like in America, because of its huge size. Say you want to go from like Shanghai and you want to go to the capital Beijing, their current methods of going by train or car aren't that comfortable and take a long time, but aviation is unfortunately really expensive. However, with this new airport, hopefully it'll become cheaper and more people will be able to afford aviation to transport themselves across the country, and it will help overall in the long run in China's technological sector. Of course, it's hard for other democratic countries to build this sort of enormous building because of the huge planning constraints, the budget issues that countries like the UK or America, who would have the budget technically to complete it, would face, whereas China has a very straightforward view of things, I guess. I'm not complimenting it or in any way, but I'm just saying that it gets things done, I guess, and this airport is a prime example of that.
Huge structure, and we're now
and look at the roof, and all the way, you can see all the way there. And we're now on the departure level, and these are the check-in desks. And over here, you can see all the way to the bottom, to the front ground floor. We've now passed the security check and entering the main waiting hall. And this is my favorite spot in this airport because it has the best view, and we're now standing on a bridge. And from this place, you could see all the way down to the end of each corridors of this airport. It has 6 steel columns to hold the roof here, and it has a diameter of 180 meters. Altogether, it could hold the National Aquatic Center, also known as the Water Cube, inside. So this is really a must-go place inside the terminal, a nice little garden to allow people to have some fresh air while waiting for their flights. This is the China Customs. It has introduced the latest technology, facial recognition. This is the camera here. Everyone's face could be read here.
Next, The Boring Company. Yep, well, it sounds pretty boring, yeah, but if you're a fan of Elon Musk, you probably know what I'm talking about. A really interesting concept. They're also the people who sold flamethrowers to everyone, but they could sell them because they technically weren't flamethrowers. Yeah, a nice, like, a weird legal loop, but anyway, that's a completely different topic, although an interesting tangent nonetheless. The Boring Company is located in Los Angeles, US, and the progress is with trials ongoing, so it's probably a long way from completion, and there's no completion date, but, you know, Elon Musk likes to get things done. So, the tunnel company has an incredibly ambitious goal: to beat a snail in a race. Tunnel boring machines are so slow, in fact, that a soft soil variant is 14 times slower than a snail. But the Boring Company's founder, Elon Musk, has laid down the gauntlet. He wants his machine to beat a snail in a race. Yes, it doesn't sound very impressive, but just bear with me. It is impressive because you got to remember, again, like I said, the scale of these things and the immense amount of information and material they have to process. Elon Musk is designing a carving machine that digs over 14 times faster than a traditional one. And this is no mean feat, but Musk has a few ideas to show how this can be done. Most importantly, by placing vehicles inside the tunnel on an automated electric skate network, the tunnel's dimensions can be reduced substantially. This paves the way for an automated shuttle system that's set to revolutionize city travel, and it could be coming soon. So we're having a look at inside the Boring Loop network. First step is departure. Private vehicles, along with public transport vehicles carrying between 8 to 16 passengers, would enter the tunnel network at designated entry points across the city, much like the tube system in London or the subway system in New York, much like that in a way. 2. Descending. The entry points would operate as automated vertical lifts. Honestly, this sounds like absolute sci-fi, I know. So basically, you get in the car, and then it goes down under the street level, and the street closes above you. From here, vehicles would merge into the relevant lane. Gliding. See, rather than driving independently within the tunnels, vehicles will be carried on a loop system, an electric skate network that will ferry vehicles to the destinations at, get this, 200 to 240 kilometers per hour. Which, I don't know what that is in miles. It's a lot. It's very fast. And it will revolutionise travel and show what can be done if you put your mind on it. If this actually comes to light. Obviously, in LA or America, there are a lot of planning restrictions, and so a project like this, of such big scale, is much harder to happen than earlier, the one we talked about in China, and Elon Musk is having a hard time, getting the planning for it. But he'll probably get it done. I mean, he's Elon Musk. He just does whatever he wants, and people let him at this point, For the future plans, there are plans for a 4.3 kilometre tunnel to be excavated in LA as a proof of process, but the Boring Company have also proposed a network of possible expansion routes across the city. Yeah, amazing. Did you know the Boring Company has been selected also to build a loop network connecting downtown Chicago to O'Hare Airport? So within 20-30 years, these loop networks could populate the US and even other developed countries. And I mean, it's just an amazing concept, isn't it? It just sounds so sci-fi, so out of our life. Yeah, it's real. It's very, very real, and within 10, 20 years, it may be at your very doorstep. Yeah, and although the Boring Company isn't making much money now, if they pioneer a whole new transport system and send that over the world, well, they're going to make a lot of money, aren't they? Next, we are talking about the Amaiza Oriente Water Tunnel. The location, New Mexico City, Mexico. Progress under construction. The completion target is 2019, which is this year, and it's at the end. Actually, I don't know if it's completed yet, but it must be at least near to completion. I can only find out really from my original source material that I'm reading from my script, 2019. Maybe it's been offset, and it was just originally the completion target was 2018, and they don't know when it's going to be built, but it doesn't actually seem obvious whether it's built yet. So, anyway, on to the topic. The buried structure built to preserve Mexico City. Sewers aren't typically seen as the most glamorous of structures, but the Amaiza Oriente wastewater tunnel will soon be performing an invaluable service for Mexico City. The city's growing population has led to an increased demand for water, which is pumped from the lake bed that lies beneath it. However, this has resulted in the city filling the void where the water used to be. Mexico's capital is sinking, possibly by as much as 12 meters in the past 100 years, and is now vulnerable to flooding. Fortunately, engineering innovation is on hand to help. The Amaiza Oriente will shift rainfall and wastewater at a rate of 150 cubic meters per second through its 62-kilometer length. Carved using 6 custom-built boring machines equipped to deal with the complex ground conditions in Mexico, the tunnel will be robust for years to come thanks to its wall of reinforced steel and concrete segmental rings. Yeah, this is interesting because they built Mexico City on a swamp practically, much like Venice. And yeah, it's sinking, and it always has been sinking, and it always will be. Yeah, it's one of the most populated cities on Earth, but slowly, very slowly, well, not very slowly in fact, 12 meters in 100 years on a long-term scale isn't that slow. It is sinking, and they're going to have to find ways to deal with it, especially as sea levels rise. Next, we are going to be talking about the Three Gorges Dam. How engineers harness the power of rivers and span huge natural barriers. The Three Gorges Dam, if you may have heard of it, is located in Sandaping, China, and is fully completed, the only one on this list, fully operational as of 2012. Meet the hydroelectric juggernaut that divides China's Yangtze River. The Three Gorges Dam is a monster. Its 2.3 kilometre length, 115 metre base width, and maximum height of 185 metres spans the Yangtze River, making it the largest hydroelectric power station in the world. By incorporating 27.2 million cubic metres of concrete and more than 460,000 metric tons of steel into its design, the dam supports an enormous reservoir that is capable of holding up to 42 billion tons of water. Suffice to say, this dam can put out a lot of power, estimated to generate 22,500 megawatts at maximum capacity, or around 11 times the energy output of the Hoover Dam in the US. The Three Gorges Dam has been pivotal to China, shifting away from its reliance on fossil fuels and towards sources of renewable energy. As well as generating energy, the dam was designed to alleviate flooding of the Yangtze Basin. Did you know the Three Gorges Dam has raised so much water it has slowed the rotation of the Earth by 0.06 microseconds? Interestingly, half as interesting, Wendover Productions' second channel, if you're a fan of them, actually did a video about this, and it's really interesting how it's affected it, and go watch that if you want to learn more. The Three Gorges Dam cost $37 billion, approximately £28 billion to build, if you want to put it into perspective, which is an enormous amount. That's it for today, I think. I do have some more engineering, epic engineering structures if you want to hear about them, but this video is getting quite long. If you've enjoyed this video, tell me and I'll be happy to make another video about epic engineering around the world. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the background gameplay as well. I know the production value on this wasn't too high, but it's one of my first videos, and if you'd help support or subscribe to the channel or like this video, hopefully I'll be making more videos. They're becoming better produced, and yeah, I would really like to create, a nice educational channel, talk about subjects I enjoy.